Okay, so this question is from John Lim. He gives a shout out to Wayne. Had transacted with Wayne recently and good experience all around with PLB. So his question is, the sizes of our houses have shrunk. The sizes of our houses have not shrunk over the years while the prices keep going up for both HDB and private. It's understandable that all property owners would like to see the prices go up over the years. However, do you all see Singapore going towards the direction of Hong Kong in 15 to 20 years where plenty of young people are not able to afford houses? Is HDB going to be selling easily in excess of $1 million? Is that going to be a norm? And is there also going to be a limit on how much grant the government can give?
Awesome. Thanks, John, for this question. Great question. What do you think, Grace, about this?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic question from John. I think it's a really empathetic question also, because John is like looking from the perspective of, moving forward in the real estate market. Are the young people of Singapore still going to be able to afford housing? And that's a question that I think myself and a lot of my friends are thinking about as well. So I think, okay, initially John says the sizes of our houses haven't shrunk. Okay, so I think, I'm not sure whether it's a typo, but if we were to pull up a chart that we were discussing previously, actually we will notice after the 2013 TDSR measures, the sizes of our homes have actually shrunk.
Yes.
Shrunk.
Honey, I shrunk the kids. Yes. Did you watch that show?
What show?
Honey, I
My
shrunk
era.
the kids. It's the best show. You should watch it. Okay.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, so let's say we can put up the charts, right? The sizes of our homes have actually shrunken quite a fair bit, especially after the 2013 TDSR measures, in a bid to keep the quantum more affordable.
Right.
So as PSF goes up, but you still want to keep the quantum affordable and the quantum low, so developers have actually started making smaller and smaller units. So I believe that was John's question actually. That was his intention, that the houses have shrunk, but the prices have maintained. Right. So moving forward, and he also says that it's understandable that all property owners will want the prices to go up. Yeah. So funny story is that, sometimes I post some kind of TikTok videos and then people will be commenting like, like the prices keep going up. Like, how can you be selling homes at this kind of price? And then there are some other people who reply to these comments, right? And they'll say things like, of course, the prices have to go up, right? If the prices are going down, it might signal like unhealthy economy, right? And homes in Singapore is traditionally for like asset progression and to help people to accumulate more wealth in terms of like storing in the asset or for retirement purposes. So I think prices have to logically go up, and the next guy is going to want to sell higher than the previous person. That's just the logical thing, right? So, okay, back to the question. Whether we see Singapore going towards the direction of Hong Kong.
Maybe I'll pose this question to Yurong.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think? You have been quite quiet today.
Because it's not my time to speak.
Yes.
Okay, I think like generally, I think our landscape is pretty different from Hong Kong. A few things. Number one, I think the government has done a great job with regards to supply with new flats, in regards to the HDB segment. Right, so let's start with HDB segment first. And because the government can decide when to launch, how much supply to launch on every single year by looking at application rate for BTO or like resale prices, there's an indication to how much price has moved, right? So when prices gone up too much, they can always come in to navigate the supply by giving more supply. And what happens is HDB actually controls how much they were going to price their BTO flats. And if we were to use like recent like Tengah launches, right, which is 4-room flat starting from about 350 plus over $1,000, using a median income of $4,000 per person, which means the household income is about 8,000, right? So that is about 4 over times in terms of annual income. Right. So that is how the government decide that how they were going to price the BTOs to make it affordable that is in line with the income. So I think the government does a great job on that. Even though we have already have very limited land in Singapore, but we are creating new land space, new townships, I would say, for example, Tengah, and there will be other areas that we can still clear some forests to actually have like future townships. So with all the good planning, I think we will not be in the same direction as Hong Kong.
Right. I think in terms of this Hong Kong and Singapore pricing kind of comparison, I think this will be in the same direction if we're just talking about private property. But once we put HDB into the picture, it will be very different. The reason is because one of the reasons why we have such a high ownership rate, just refer to this chart, right? But of course, this was back in 2020. Now, our home ownership rate is actually hovering at about 89% based on the last check. That was because of our public housing scheme. And over the years, actually, a lot of countries has came to Singapore to visit to actually have the tour on how our government actually instituted the HDB policies to ensure that Singaporeans have a very high chance to get their own shelter, own home, and the creation of CPF and all that. So I think this is the part that differs. Because example, if you look at Japan, actually Japan, if you back in the past when there was a lot of so-called like I wouldn't say hype, there was a lot of interest in investing in Japan properties. In fact, now investors over the world, they will still invest in various parts of different countries in a sense. But one statistics on Japan is that a lot of the tenants are actually the Japanese themselves. Yeah. So example, if you buy a property in Tokyo or in Osaka, actually the key tenant pool are Japanese themselves that are coming from different parts of the Japan landscape to work in the core city. So Singapore is very different. We're so small. And this actually forms the bedrock of a lot of our price stability, is because Singaporeans, they have a home themselves, and the BTO pricing, it rise over time. If you enter at the BTO price, even if you were to buy a resale property at the first property, what is the current grant round?
The current grant is up to 180K for a 4-room flat.
Great. There was another question, which
190K.
190K. Okay, of course that is tiered based on income, but minimally first time couple, resale property, 4-room.
80,000 for a first timer grant,
Right.
30K for up to 30K for near parents. The rest will be enhanced housing grant.
Right. So there was a very good question. One of our audience asked us like, okay, so sorry, is this question. This is also going to be a limit on how much grant the government can give. I think one thing that our government has very cleverly crafted is that the grant is in the form of CPF. It is actually an injection of CPF funds into your CPF. And when you sell the place next time, they're not going to take back the money from you. But they need you to return that money into your own CPF. So you can utilize it for the next property. So I think this part is well controlled.